In a small town surrounded by green fields and narrow streets, a young boy named Rohan lived with his family. Rohan was different from the other kids. While most boys his age spent their time playing casually, Rohan had a dream. He wanted to become a great football player. Every evening after finishing his schoolwork, Rohan would run to the open ground near his house, kick a ball against a wall, and imagine himself in a big stadium, playing in front of thousands of people. His heart would race with excitement just thinking about it. But there was one problem. Rohan was not a strong player. He was smaller than most of the boys in his neighborhood. Whenever he played, he would fall easily, miss passes, and fail to score goals. The other kids would laugh at him. "You are too weak, Rohan," they would say. "You will never be a footballer." Even his best friends started avoiding him when it was time to pick teams. No one wanted a weak player on their side. At home, things weren't much better. His father, a hard-working farmer, believed sports were a waste of time. "Focus on your studies, Rohan," he would say. "Football won't give you food." Rohan felt hurt, but he wasn't ready to give up. Deep in his heart, he knew that dreams don't come true easily. He had to work for it. One evening, after being rejected from another game, Rohan sat alone on a broken bench near the field. He watched the other boys playing and thought, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not good enough. But then, something inside him whispered, no. If you want to be great, you must work harder than them. That night, Rohan made a promise to himself. He would train every day, no matter how hard it was. From the next morning, his new journey began. While others were sleeping, Rohan woke up at dawn and ran across the field, strengthening his legs. He did push-ups and sit-ups to become stronger. He practiced kicking the ball for hours, learning control and precision. When school ended, instead of playing with friends, he stayed back and practiced alone. His legs ached and his feet got bruised, but he kept going. One day, an old football coach named Mr. Verma saw Rohan practicing alone. The coach was impressed by his dedication. "You are working very hard, young man," he said. Rohan smiled shyly. "I want to be a great footballer, sir." Mr. Verma nodded. "Talent is good, but hard work is better. Keep going, and one day you will surprise everyone." These words gave Rohan even more strength. Months passed, and the annual football tournament was announced in Rohan's town. Teams were forming, and Rohan was eager to join. He went to the selection trials with excitement. But when the teams were finalized, his name was missing. "Sorry, Rohan," the team captain said. "You are still not good enough." His heart sank. He had worked so hard, yet no one believed in him. For a moment, he thought about quitting. But then, he remembered his promise. He would never give up. Instead of feeling sad, he decided to work even harder. He woke up earlier, trained longer, and pushed himself beyond his limits. He watched football matches, studied players' moves, and tried to improve his techniques. One day before the tournament, something unexpected happened. One of the team's best players got injured. The team needed a replacement. The coach had noticed Rohan's dedication and approached him. "Would you like to play?" he asked. Rohan couldn't believe his ears. This was his chance. "Yes, sir, I will do my best," he said with determination. But the other players weren't happy. "Why him?" one of them whispered. "He will make us lose." Rohan ignored the whispers. He knew he had one chance to prove himself. The stadium was filled with people. The whistle blew, and the match began. Rohan sat on the bench, waiting for his turn. In the second half, the coach finally called him. "Go, Rohan! Show them what you've got." As he stepped onto the field, his heart pounded. The other team was strong. The players were taller and faster. At first, Rohan made a few mistakes. The crowd whispered, "He won't do anything." But then he remembered his training. He focused. He ran faster. He moved smarter. Then, in the final minutes of the game, something magical happened. The ball came rolling toward him. He controlled it perfectly, dribbled past two defenders, and aimed for the goal. With all his strength, he kicked the ball. It flew past the goalkeeper and into the net. The crowd erupted in cheers. His teammates, who once doubted him, ran to hug him. The final whistle blew. Rohan's team had won the match. As Rohan walked off the field, he saw Mr. Verma smiling proudly. His father, who never supported football, had tears in his eyes. That night, Rohan realized something important. It wasn't just about winning the match. It was about proving to himself that Hai,